Yeah, but everyone is
Yeah.
saying points, airdrop.
Which do
Yeah.
you think? What do you think it is?
Oh,
Points, airdrops, or both?
points. You got to do points first and then airdrop. We got to milk it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I had funds in there for the longest time. That margin fi and Camino, like I am like heavy on those. Like, so I'm really hoping that it makes up for my hesitation in deploying into allocating to Solana the base token. Um, all right. Let's see. Okay. Camino. Okay. All right. 30 minutes ago, Camino is like, guys literally only want one thing, and it's fucking disgusting. And they have like this guy opening up a sword, and the first letter is P. So you think they're all gonna do it this month? Like
Yeah,
uh
they have to catch
margin,
in. They have to cash
margin,
in on the hype.
Camino, margin, Camino, Jupe. They release in 1 week.
They have to, and when you think about it, because there's so many eyes that are on crypto right now, right? Within
Yeah.
everybody's super anxious about the BTC ETF and all the institutional capital and retail. Retail's
Yeah.
coming back in right now. And then there's the, oh, if and when BTC's ETF gets approved soon after, that'll be the Ethereum ETF that's going to be applied for and inevitably approved. And then once we have an ETF for the leading smart blockchain, then everything gets blown open, right? We're gonna have, Facebook or Facebook's last Meta. They can get back into crypto in the way that they wanted, gaming, all of these things. So they need to cash in right now before the real crypto bull market gets in the swings, and also like the TradFi markets. The Wall Street stock market is trading near all-time highs. So if they want to capitalize on the inflow of money, I don't see why Solana projects won't just do like a collective boom, 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 boom points for a month. Because they're going to be able to backdate it. They're definitely going to backdate the points, so they could just be like boom, 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 hype cycle. 1, 2, 4 weeks of points based on your previous history. Let a few more people come in and get eligible for the airdrop,
Mhm.
and then you know drop their tokens. Sorry to take over there for a second, but
Right, but why do they all have to do it at the same time? Isn't that would be there would be what's that word? To attention. They'd be sort of competing for attention. Like, don't you think it would make more sense if one person did it, had their on for like 3 weeks, and then another person does it? Um, of course, it might be difficult to coordinate, but like it's possible.
I think I agree. So how would you see it play out? Token, do you guys want to go first? Do we want to go first? I would assume that each team is making that decision on how to manage points and their snapshots and all of that stuff independently. But I'm
Yeah,
curious your
no,
thoughts.
no, I agree, but I also think that right now, like the ecosystem is small enough that they could definitely coordinate. So, for example, imagine if they are all trying to use, so Jupe, for example, is going to try and use Meteora, and they have like this new um, CLMM they're trying to use for a token release. And so I can imagine everyone being like, all right, let's see how Jupiter goes. And then if that goes well or whatnot, they all just like release their token through the Jupiter platform. And if that's the case, then Jupiter could say, hey, by the way, like, Camino, Margin Fi is trying to do this thing next week. So how about you guys hold off? Because our team is going to be working on that. And then after that, we'll work on you guys. And then, like, there is no reason why they couldn't, as the same way that say I don't know, Dimension gives tokens to Tia stakers. There's no reason why Camino couldn't give some points to to margin 5 points holders. Like you could do that and like get some extra people who haven't used your platform. Um, I I'm not saying you're gonna do that, but like I'm just thinking like if you're like imagine what would happen if everyone was coordinated. Like what would be the optimum way to release a token? It's not like all six at the same time. So the argument becomes okay, given that you're not coordinated, what are the incentives for them to do it, sort of to do it, one by one. And I think the fact that you won't have fragmented attention is is a relatively good reason, and then you get to like just ride that momentum. But I see your point as to why you might just want to do everything at once, get all the liquidity. Actually, that's not true, because if you did it all at once, you're not actually the liquidity gets fragmented. Like people who like you're trying to be an LP, you can only be an LP for one thing at a time, right? Like so I don't know. I don't know. Although Kyle Samani did mention at one point that he said something to the tune of, "Oh, the market makers are like gearing up their infra to come into Solana, like like things are just getting started, kind of thing." So I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see how it plays out. Um, Timeline, either way, whether it be coordinated or not, what are you thinking for a timeline? Because I think both you and I can agree that these tokens or these projects need to release their token soon. When is soon for you? Is it a couple of weeks? Can they wait a couple of months? How long do these guys have to really capitalize on time? What's the
Yeah,
timeline?
they probably have until the Bitcoin halving. Like I don't think things are gonna go too crazy before the halving. So let's say what like was it ARC or no Great no who are these guys that submitted their ETF? Black
Uh,
Black Black
BlackRock. I mean,
BlackRock, yeah,
there's plenty of them. Everybody's waiting for BlackRocks to get
right.
approved because BlackRock, in their entire history of filing for ETFs, have only had one be declined, and it was because they made mistakes. They made too many mistakes for it to get approved. But go ahead.
Yeah, so BlackRock just had a tweet recent, or an X Z, whatever that thing is,
Don't
recently,
even try. Don't even try.
that they said they're expecting an approval on Wednesday. So there's the whole sell the news, or start of bull thesis. Like it looks like Bitcoin is running today. Um, I feel like the more it runs up until the day, the more likely it is to be a sell the news event. But given what happened with the Solana the break point where everyone expected it to sell off afterwards, I do feel like it might not actually sell off. But I mean, that's 50-50. I'm not betting on either case. Instead, what I would rather do is buy, or make bets on things like, so instead of buying like $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, I'd rather buy $5,000 worth of like Rune or something, like the beta to Bitcoin. That way, I have the same price or profit potential, but like uh my loss is sort of capped. Given that I know that Bitcoin is always gonna recover and get back to wherever it needs to be.
I've been trying to think more holistically about how to position myself, and I'll put it like this: I'm not gonna take every single dollar that I have at my disposal and buy one entire Bitcoin, because when Bitcoin goes from, what is it at right now? What's, what if Bitcoin doubles, like, yeah, like that'll be awesome for me, but like Tia still has runway, Atom token still has runway, like some of these low market cap coins, I feel like are going to have a lot more potential upside with like the multiples in return that I can have. And then everything right now is just positioning for airdrops. I mean, if I could completely airdrop farm with USDC and USDT, I would, but I can't, unfortunately.
That is interesting. Um, But you accept that your returns are going to be lower than someone who's like 100% allocated, though.
I believe that, these lower cap projects being first, being early, being a beta tester for these new innovative projects that are coming out, that's what's going to really build wealth. And then I feel like BTC, just as we are all know, is digital gold. I'm going to hold it as digital gold, but like I don't want to have digital gold be 25% of my portfolio. I feel like digital gold should be 10% of my portfolio or
Mhm.
15% of my portfolio. And then because I have a smaller portfolio and I want it to grow rather than protect my wealth, right? I'm trying to build wealth, not protect my wealth. So I have to be a lot farther out on that risk curve and buy these, buy tokens that have potential to 10x, 20x, hopefully. But I don't see Bitcoin 10xing. So I want to get exposure to tokens that will. Ideally, I'm not buying any tokens. I try not to air farm or try not to airdrop farm by buying any tokens, but we can get into that later.
Right. So you're saying you want to put a non-volatile currency at, well, you don't want to put funds at risk, but you want to take on volatility risk, but you're fine taking smart contract risk. It sounds
I'm
like if you
fine
could
with
deposit
I'm
if you could
I'm fine
deposit
with
a
taking
hundred
just about
bucks.
any risk. I'm fine with taking
Oh,
just
okay.
about any risk because I'm probably I'm not on I'm not at the pico end of the risk curve, but
Mhm.
I'm pretty far out on the risk curve because again, I'm not going to make wealth. BTC is the safest crypto asset. And as such, it if I were to be in crypto in 2013 and had held a bag, I'd already be rich by now. Like that would have been the time for me to have a shit ton of Bitcoin. When I'm rich will be the time for me to have a bunch of Bitcoin. But for me right now, I need to be putting all of my time, focus, and energy in things that are risky because things that are risky have the most potential upside. They have the most risk of loss, but losing a lot of nothing is still a whole lot of nothing. You know what I mean? Like losing
Yeah, yeah,
one
yeah, yeah. I
thousand
understand what you're saying.
dollars on a bet, like on a risky bet, that's $1,000. But the upside, I could have gotten $5,000. So you know what? I'm gonna make five more $1,000 bets, and hopefully one works out.
Okay. Okay. So then the question is, what percent of your portfolio are you putting into crypto?
Oh, I mean, so you mean just like,
Like net worth, like of all the monies you
oh,
have in the world, like how much is in crypto?
ooh, more than half of my net worth is in crypto. But
Okay.
yeah, hands down.
Right. No, no, I'm probably the same way too.
Yeah.
That's not that crazy. At least for people who are in this cycle. So if you're saying, so you have more than 50% of your net worth in crypto, and you're saying that you're not gonna have over 25% in BTC.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that
yeah,
makes sense.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes
yeah,
sense.
it just
But
doesn't,
then the question is,
BTC can't double.
you had said earlier that if you could, you would stay in stables and farm airdrops. Why would you do that? Because now you could also stay in crypto and farm more crypto,
Oh,
right?
no, 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 don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not talking about pulling I'm not talking about like pulling any money out of crypto and like buying treasuries or anything like that.
No, no, no. I
Um,
understand that.
yeah.
No, I'm saying like I understood
Oh,
what
oh,
you said
oh,
to be.
okay.
Oh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
hold, kind
Yeah.
of like what you did with Jito, right? Like I'm gonna hold it in USDC, and then I'm gonna like put it in all these different platforms and try and get that airdrop.
Get
Yeah.
off
Okay.
of me for a second. you just got, because you know what? I feel like you just got a crypto caffeine tablet, and you're running on your high right now. Term if you have something targeted for me, definitely lay it on me.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I got something for you. So
yeah.
remember how after the Jito airdrop, you sold all of yours, and I was trying to be DJing and put in an LP. Terrible decision, did not work out well.
No.
Uh,
What happened?
um,
Let's go. What happened?
okay, so what happened was Jito 2x in price, right? So everything was looking good. Um, and then it like went below it, like by the time I got out, it was 1.77, right? When I could have sold for anything, from 2 to like 2.5 to 3. So between 2 and 3 was probably where I would have sold if, I had held on. The good thing is I did make trading fees, but when you look at Camino analytics, I got 15% less than I would have if I just held both Jito and my Soul separately. And I got 35% less if I had just converted everything into Soul. All right. So that is me. Going so the which one is the Camino strategy. So the one in green is me. So there are three ways there are three things you could have done. Well, not three. There are more things that you could have done, but the three things I probably would have done, could have done after the airdrop. One is sell all of my Jito into JitoSOL, all my Jito tokens to JitoSOL. Two is to hold my Jito and my no. One is to sell all Jito into JitoSOL, and the second one is to LP, which is what I did. I decided to LP, and you can see right there the Camino strategy was negative 23% compared to just hodling JitoSOL. So if I had just converted everything to JitoSOL, I would have done 35% better. And the reason why this is kind of annoying is because I figured this out for Ethereum. Like, I don't know if I told you this now, one of our last calls. Maybe I did, or maybe I'm just like, 2020 visioning this whole thing. But like most times, whenever there's an airdrop, you're better off just converting to the base token. You don't want to convert to USD because it's a bull market. The tokens are going to outperform USDC. But you can convert to the base token because these derivative things are going to go up, go down, do whatever they do. But ultimately, over the long run, they're going to underperform the base token. That's what happened with every DeFi token on Ethereum. So I should have known that. And one of my lessons from this, because I knew it theoretically, but I'd never gone through it. One of my lessons from this is whenever I get an airdrop, I'm going to sell it for the base token and 2x and go 2x leverage on that. So I would have bought Sol when Sol was 70 and done borrowed against it and like just 2x that position. That
So
way,
you would have sold your Jito for JitoSOL and
yes,
then looped it on Camino,
yeah, looked it wherever.
or on margin. You would have sold your JTO token from your airdrop into
Mhm.
JitoSOL, which
Yeah,
is the LST,
yeah,
a derivative of just having the Sol token. Plus, you're getting the yield on top of it. Stake that into a lending and borrowing market, and then borrow against it.
correct.
Perfect.
And get a 2x leverage on that. That I think is going to be my play for all future airdrops. I'm not fucking around with LPing. It's too stressful. It's not deterministic enough to be relaxed about the results over the medium to long term. And yeah, most of these tokens I don't really care about them. Like I have some sort of affiliation to BTC, to Ethereum, to Solana, to honestly Atom actually, but Atom's just has stupid price movement. But like, I would love to be able to hold Atom because like I'm just not comfortable with any of the other newer stuff, right? Like I hold, a decent number of some, but it's just like I would, at the first sign of danger, I'm very likely to panic. But I'm not. It's gonna take me a lot. Like BTC, ETH, Sol. I'm probably gonna ride those till they die, just because like I'll be like I just have so much conviction, and I would hold it for probably longer than I should. Um, but yeah. So that's I don't know. That's the play on any L1 that I choose to participate in. But yeah, I know we talked about giving an update on this thing. So I said it'd be good to talk about that first. All right, so that's done.
Did you really quick before you move on?
Yeah.
Did you put on that trade? Do you still have your JTO token? Did you sell it into JitoSOL? Did you deposit it into Camino or a margin?
So I sold it all to Sol.
Okay.
So
Just Sol. You haven't put it into Jito or
I actually, what did I do? So I think I might have it. Oh, I know what I did. So I converted it. I staked it on Blaze Soul, and
Nice.
then I put it on Super Stake for
Nice.
21% APY.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Sorry to trip you up. I just wanted to get that out of you really quick before you go on.
Yeah. So that's and like the whole thing here is that I'm just like max bidding. Well, not max bidding, but like I'm max farming potential points on Camino, Drift, and Margin. Um, Also Jupe too. So like all my trades, I'm running through Jupiter. Because again, I'm trying to farm that second airdrop. Let's
That's
see.
coming soon. That is coming soon.
Yeah, for sure. And to be honest with you, at this point, I actually don't even care about what their mechanism is. I think I'm participating enough that I should qualify for anything. I'm trying to think ahead, like the second level of this. Okay, what happens after I receive the airdrop? Like, what's the play? Like, that's what I'm thinking of. Like what do we do? Are we staying within Sol? Are we taking the money out and taking it to the Cosmos ecosystem to go play over there? Are we converting it back to stables and then just kind of like I don't know, like probably not stables, but like definitely going back to the base token and doing some form of leverage or yeah, like that's probably what I think I will be doing. So like, or maybe just taking a percentage of that and then just like playing around with some of the newer protocols. I just looked at something that came up on my timeline. It's a protocol that they've been kind of slow to release, but if you go to beta.juicer.fi.
Their Twitter here. These guys here.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I've been waiting on them to drop something, and it looks like they just released the first version of their app, which is very basic. So I'm probably not going to use it. But if you look at on the left hand side, see where it says recipes. That's what I'm interested. That's what I'm waiting for. Because what it means is that you can do things across protocols, but you're controlling it from one spot. So I could say, hey, deposit into margin 5, borrow from margin 5, take that and put it into Camino, take it from Camino and put it into Drift and do all these things, and I can control it like a recipe, like a dish on one protocol. So that is super cool. On Ethereum, there was something like that. I forget what it was called. I forget what the name was, but it was so cool. It's like you could put things on Compound, take it out, go on Yearn. That way you could do like one click. You can have like all these one click strategies because it's just drag and drop. I gotta find the name of this thing.
Was
But
that guacamole? I
what
swear there was something like
on
not,
Ethereum?
yeah, I could have swore there
No, no,
was a
no. It wasn't. It
project
wasn't.
by like it had like a really playful name.
Yeah, it wasn't guacamole.
Oh no.
Um,
Oh, so it looks like these guys, yeah, these guys are running strategies to boost the earnings because this juicer pool is on Camino. Camino is doing their thing. I'm gonna be happy to see when they do finally drop points because their Camino fortunately flat out sets the expectation for points. Right? They have
Yeah.
points are coming soon, and
Yeah.
again, I know that they will just take a look at our history and see how long you have been staked, and they'll have the points come go based on that. Go ahead and continue with you said juicer. What else did you have on there?
Oh, I was gonna do a humble brag and say I'll be so pissed if I'm not top 100 in Camino. But well, yeah,
you you have that much on Camino that you insist that you're on
I've,
the
I've
top 100 leaderboard.
no, I've been on it long enough, and I was playing
Okay.
with like relatively decent size at the time, like as of like mid this year. So like that times 6 months, like you'd have to be putting in a very huge amount in the last couple of months to like get to where I am, depending on how they decide to calculate it. Well, yeah. So like, yeah, Camino, Drift, and Margin Fi, man. Like, if they don't have good airdrops, then that's it. I'm just gonna get out of here and go do something else in my life.
Well,
But
everything going on with the airdrops right now, I feel like there is going to be absolutely terrible airdrops and then like awesome airdrops, right?
yeah.
I'm stating the obvious, but the reason why I say that is to kind of pivot a little bit into what's going on the Cosmos ecosystem. Stop me now if you don't want to talk about it too much, but I think there's a lot of really interesting projects on Cosmos, and I've been kind of pissed off with how they've been handling their airdrops. I
Uh-huh.
think that the community there has been trying to gatekeep too. ugh, I don't want to go pissing off too many people, but I feel like the Cosmos ecosystem, they've worked hard in the bear market. And of course, when you're working hard in any market, it doesn't matter whether it's a bull or a bear, you want adoption. Now, the sentiment and the narrative around Cosmos and the modular thesis is starting to pick up steam, and they are getting this capital inflow. And they're like, yeah, hey, all our tokens are up 2-3x. um but the projects that are getting ready to airdrop or have been airdropping recently, they're like, yeah, you guys that have come in recently and like taken our TVL,
Hmm.
2-3x, you guys aren't going to get the airdrop. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that's a little annoying to say like, hey, we want you guys to come in and be a part of the community, but because I haven't been here for 6 months, you don't want to let me in on the airdrop. Like, I've been here for a month and a half, and like, you don't
Hmm.
want to let me in on the airdrop. And it's like, again, like if I deploy 2% of my portfolio, and I come in and I start engaging and I start tweeting about the projects, let me in on the fucking airdrop.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like protocols are gonna do what they're gonna do, depending on the the ideologies of the founders, right, and the founding team. I don't think too much about that. I just use what I like, and there are certain things that I use enough that I just expect to get something back. Now, I would probably be disappointed in how much, or yeah, basically how much I get for some of them, as is to be expected. But I don't bother myself too much about, like, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not. I don't care if I don't get anything. Like I just need to get enough to have made it worthwhile. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to get everything, but like, honestly, Jito alone was probably worth all of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The Jito drop
yeah.
alone.
So
Um,
so
yeah,
by that you mean even with your LP venture not, that trade not being what you wanted it to be,
yeah,
when you sold off your JTO and moved into Sol,
yeah,
you were still in five figures.
yeah, yeah,
That's all that fucking matters, dude.
yeah. So
Right?
yeah, that's yeah, and like there was something I saw on Twitter, and this is good for like newcomers and whatnot. And they were like, you don't measure your net worth or your gains by the highest price, the all-time highs. You measure them by the all-time lows, actually. And so from that perspective is kind of like what has just helped me like not overthink selling at the right time or whatever it is. And I know you've talked about it in the past too. But it's just like, you know, previously I would just sit and be like, man, if I had sold at 4, like, I'd be still doing so much better. But like at the end of the day, it's like even if I had sold at Jito equals $4, I would still put it in some stupid shit that's probably gonna rug or whatever. So like the at the end of the day, when I sell and when I don't sell don't matter as much as are we making money? Are we steadily going up? And are we still doing what got us to this point? Assuming that the bull market continues and we don't just all lose everything. So
Yeah, I definitely think that that brings what you were saying to me about, me bitching about the airdrop opportunities is it comes and goes. It comes and
yeah.
it goes, and as long as you're able to not get wiped out, as long as I'm
Mhm.
here, there'll be more opportunities. And you know, eventually one day, maybe this cycle or the next bull cycle, as we get like mass adoption, maybe these opportunities become less frequent or less profitable, right? Because
Uh-huh.
when airdrops have to be distributed among a bunch more people, of course you're going to get diluted. But as long as we're here and we have the ability to do the activity, right? We get wiped out. If I were to get wiped out today, I know that I would find a way to stay in crypto, but it would take me a while. And
Yeah.
what opportunities, what potential yields and gains would I miss out on in the meantime? So,
Mhm.
I think you make a good point there, and just kind of like being humble, right? We're blessed. We live in America. We don't have to sell off our Bitcoin and you know we're not desperate. We have the pleasure and the leisure of being able to participate in DeFi. It's great.